Welcome, I'm Noob Solos, and this is the Dirty Book Club. I got 50 Shades of Grey. We're going to start it up. I scowl with frustration at myself in the mirror. Damn my hair. It just won't behave. And damn it, Catherine Canigan, for being ill and subjecting me to this ordeal. I should be studying for my final exams, which are next week. Yet, here I am trying to brush my hair into submission. I must not sleep with it wet. I must not sleep with it wet. Reciting this mantra several times, I attempted once more to bring it under control with my brush. I roll my eyes in exasperation and gaze at the pale brown hair girl with blue eyes too big for her face staring back at me to give up. My only option is to strain my wayward hair in a ponytail and hope that it is semi-presentable. Kate is my roommate, and she has chosen today of all days to succumb to the flu. Therefore, she can't attend the interview she was arranged to do with some mega industrial tycoon I've never heard of for the student newspaper. So I've been volunteered. I have final exams to cram for, one essay to finish, and I'm supposed to be working this afternoon, but no, today I have to drive 165 miles downtown Seattle in order to meet the enigmatic CEO of Gray Enterprises Holdings. As an exceptional entrepreneur and major benefactor at our university, this time is extraordinarily precious, much more precious than mine. Or his time is, yeah, okay. But he has granted Kate an interview. A real coup, she tells me. Damn her extracurricular activities. Kate is huddled on the couch in the living room. Anna, I'm sorry it took me 9 months to get this interview. It'll take me another 6 to reschedule. And we'll both have graduated by then. As the editor, I can't blow off this piece. Please, Kate. She begs me in her rasping, sore voice. How does she do it? Even ill, she's looks gamut and gorgeous. Strawberry blonde hair in place and green eyes bright, although now red rimmed and runny. I ignored my pain of unwelcome sympathy. Of course I'll go, Kate. You should go back to bed. Would you like some NyQuil or Tylenol? NyQuil, please. Here are the questions in my digital recorder. Just press record here, make the notes, and I'll transcribe it all. I know nothing about him, I murmured, trying and failing to suppress my rising panic. The questions you see there. Go. It's a long drive. I don't want you to be late. Okay, I'm going to get back to bed. I made you some soup to heat up later. I stare at her fondly. Only for you, Kate, would I do this. I will. Good luck and thanks, Anna. As usual, you are my lifesaver. Gathering my backpack, I smile wryly at her, then head out the door to the car. I can't believe I have let Kate talk me into this, but then Kate can talk anyone into anything. Very nice. She makes an exceptional journalist. She's articulate, strong, persuasive, argumentative, beautiful, and she's my dearest friend. All right. The roads are clear as I set off for Vancouver, Washington, toward the Interstate 5. It's early, and I I don't have to be in Seattle until 2 this afternoon. Fortunately, Kate has lent me her sporty Mercedes CLK. I'm not sure Wanda, my old VW Beetle, would be able to make the journey in time. Oh, the Merc is fun to drive, and the miles slip away as I hit the pedal to the metal. My destination is in the headquarters of Mr. Gray's Global Enterprises. It's a huge 20-story office building. All the curved glass and steel. The architecture is like a fantasy, with Gray's house written discreetly in the steel over the glass front doors. It's a quarter to 2 when I arrive, greatly relieved that I'm not late as I walk into the enormous and frankly intimidating glass, steel, and white sandstone lobby. Behind the solid sandstone desk was a very attractive, groomed, blonde young woman smiled pleasantly at me. She's wearing the sharpest charcoal suit jacket and a white skirt that I've ever seen. She looked immaculate. I'm here to see Mr. Gray. Anastasia Steele for Kathleen Canavan. Excuse me one moment, Miss Steele. She arches her eyebrows as I stand self-conscious before her. I'm beginning to wish I had borrowed one of Kate's formal blazers rather than wearing my old navy blue jacket. I had made an effort and worn my one and only skirt. Hold on a second. My sensible brown knee-length boots and my blue sweater. For me, this is smart. I tucked one of my escaped trundles of my hair behind my ear and pretended she doesn't intimidate me. Miss K is expected. Please sign in here, Miss Steele. You want to use the last elevator on the right. Press the 12th floor. She smiles kindly at me, amused, no doubt, as I sign in. She hands me a security pass that says visitor on it. Very firmly, she's stamped on the front. I can't help my smirk. Surely it's obvious that I'm just visiting. I don't fit in here at all. Nothing changes, I awkwardly sigh. Thanking her, I walk over to the bank of elevators and past the two security men who are both far more smartly dressed than I am in their black cut suits. The elevator whisks me at the terminal velocity to the 12th floor. The doors slide open and I'm in another large lobby again, all glass and steel and white sandstone. I'm comforted by another desk of sandstone and another young blonde woman, this time dressed impeccably in black and white, who rises to greet me. Miss Steele, could you wait here, please? She points at the seating area with white leather chairs. Beyond the leather chairs is a spacious glass-walled meeting room with an equally spacious dark wood table and at least 20 matching chairs around it. Beyond that is floor-to-ceiling windows with a view of the Seattle skyline that looks throughout the whole city towards the sound. It's a stunning vista, and I'm momentarily paralyzed by the view. Wow! I sit down, fish the questions from my backpack, and go through them, inwardly cursing Kate for not providing me with a brief biography. I know nothing of this man I'm about to interview. He could be 90 or he could be 30. The uncertainty is scaling, and my nerves resurfacing made me fidget. I've never been more uncomfortable with one-on-one interviews, preferring the anonymity of a group discussion where I can sit inconspicuously at the back of the room, to be honest. And I prefer my own company, reading a classic British novel, curled up in a chair in the campus library, not sitting twitching nervously in a Colosseum glass and stone effigy. I roll my eyes at myself, get a grip, Steele, judging from the building, which is too clinically and modern. I guess Gray is in his 40s, fit tan, fine haired, and to match the rest of his personnel. Another elegant, flawless dressed blonde comes out of the large door. To the right, what is it with all the immaculate blondes? It's like Stepford in here. Taking a deep breath, I stand up. Miss Steele, the latest blondes ask. Yes, I croak to clear my throat. Yes, that sounded more confident. Miss Gray, we'll see you in a moment. May I take your jacket? Oh, please, I struggle out of my jacket. Have you been offered any refreshments? No. Oh, dear. Is blonde number 1 in trouble? Blonde number 2 frowns and eyes the young woman at the desk. Would you like tea, coffee, water? She asked, turning her attention back to me. A glass of water, thank you, I murmured. Olivia, please fetch Miss Steele a glass of water. Her voice is stern. Olivia scoots up and scurries to the door on the other side of the foyer. My apologies, Miss Steele. Olivia is our new intern. Please be seated. Mr. Gray will be in a short couple minutes. Olivia returns with a glass of ice water. Here you go, Mrs. Steele. Thank you. Blonde number 2 marches over to the large desk, her heels clicking and echoing on the sandstone floor. She sits down and they both continue their work. Perhaps Miss Gray, or Mr. Gray, insists on all his employees being blonde. I wonder idly if that's legal. When the office door opens, a tall, elegant dressed, attractive African American man with short dreads enters. I have definitely worn the wrong clothes. He turns and says through the door, Golf this week, Gray? I don't hear the reply. He turns and sees me and smiles, his dark eyes crinkling at the corners. Olivia has jumped up and called the elevator. She seems to excel at jumping from her seat. She's more nervous than me. Good afternoon, ladies, he says as he departs through the sliding glass door. Mr. Gray will see you now, Miss Steele. Do go through, blonde number 2 says. I stand rather shakingly, trying to suppress my nerves, gathering up my backpack. I abandon my glass of water and make my way to the partially open door. You don't need to knock, just go in, she smiles kindly. I push open the door and stumble through, tripping over my own feet and falling headfirst into the office. Double crap. Me and my 2 left feet. I am on my hands and knees in the doorway to Mr. Gray's office, and gentle hands are around me, helping me to stand. I am so embarrassed. Damn my clumsiness. I have to steel myself to glance up. Holy cow, he's so young. Miss K, he extends a long, fingered hand to me. Once I'm upright, I'm Christian Gray. Are you all right? Would you like to sit? So young and attractive, very attractive. He's tall, dressed in a fine gray suit, white shirt, and a black tie. with unruly dark coppered hair and intense bright gray eyes that regard me shrewdly. It takes a moment for me to find my voice. I'm going to take a water break for a second. All right. Actually, I muttered, if this guy is over 30, then I'm a monkey's uncle. In a daze, I place my hand in his and we shake. As our fingers touch, I feel an odd, exhilarating shiver run through me. I withdraw my hand hastily, embarrassed. Must be static. I blink rapidly, my eyelids matching my heart rate. Miss K is indisposed, so she sent me. I hope you don't mind, Mr. Gray. And you are? His voice is warm, possibly amused. But it's difficult to tell from his impassive expression. He looks mildly interested, but all above polite. Anastasia Steele. I'm studying to be an English literature major with Kate. Oh, Miss K. At WSU Vancouver. I see, he says simply. I think I see a ghost of a smile in his expression, but I'm not sure. Would you like to sit? He waves me towards an L-shaped white leather couch. His office is way too big for just one man. In front of the floor to ceiling windows, there's a modern desk that could sit 6 people, super comfortable to eat around. It matches the coffee table by the couch. Everything else is white, ceiling, floors, and walls, except for the wall by the door where a mosaic of small painting hangs, 36 of them arranged in a square. They're all exquisite, a series of mundane, forgotten objects painted in such precise detail they look like a photograph. Displayed together, they are breathtaking. A local artist, says Gray, when he catches my gaze. They're lovely, raising the ordinary to extraordinary, I murmured. Distracted both by him and the paintings, he cocks his head to one side and regards me instantly. I couldn't agree more, Miss Steele, he replies, his voice soft, and from some inexplicable reason, I find myself blushing. Apart from the paintings, the rest of the office is cold and clean and clinical. I wonder if it reflects the personality of the man that stands before me, who sinks gracefully into one of his leather chairs opposite of me. I shake my head, disturbed at the distance in my thoughts, and retrieve Kate's question from my backpack. Next, I set up the digital recorder and I'm all fingers and thumbs, dropping it twice on the coffee table in front of me. Mr. Gray says nothing, waiting patiently. I hope as I become increasingly embarrassed and flustered. When I pick up the courage and I look at him, he's watching me, one hand relaxed on his lap, the other cupping his chin and trailing his long index finger across his lips. I think he's trying to suppress a smile. Sorry, I stuttered. I'm not used to this. Take all the time you need, Miss Steele, he says. Do you mind if I record your answers? After you've taken so much time to set up the recorder, you ask me now? I'm flushed. He's teasing me, I hope. I blink at him, unsure what to say, and think he's taking pity on me because he relents. No, I don't mind. Did Miss K, explain what the interview was for? Yes, to appeal in her graduation issue of the student newspaper, as I shall be conferring the degrees of this year's graduation ceremony. Oh, this is news to me, and I am temporarily preoccupied by my thoughts that someone not much older than me, okay, maybe 6 years or so, is super mega successful, but still is going to present me with my degree. I frown, dragging my wayward attention back to the task at hand. Good, I swallow nervously. I have some questions, Mr. Gray. I smooth a stray lock of my hair behind my ear. I thought you might, he said. He says deadpanned. He's laughing at me. My cheeks heat up at the realization, and I sit up and square my shoulders and attempt to look taller and more intimidating. Pressing the start button on the recorder and trying to look professional. You're very young, and you have amassed such an empire. To what do you owe this success? I glanced up at him. His smile is rueful, but he looks vaguely disappointed. Business is about people, Miss Steele, and I'm very good at judging people. I know how they tick, what makes them flourish, what doesn't, what inspires them, and how to incentivize them. I employ an exceptional team, and I reward them well. He pauses and fixes me with a gray stare. My belief is to achieve success in any scheme, one has to make oneself master out of that scheme. Knowing it inside and out, knowing every detail. I work hard, very hard, to do that. I make decisions based on logic and facts. I have a natural gut instinct that can spot and nurture a good solid idea and good people. The bottom line is I'm always down to good people. Maybe you're just lucky. This isn't on Kate's list, but he's so arrogant, his eyes flared momentarily in surprise. I don't subscribe so I don't subscribe to luck or chance, Miss Steele. The harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. It really is as simple as that. I think it was Harvey Firestone who said the growth and development of people is the highest calling of leadership. You sound like a control freak. The words were out of my mouth before I could stop them. Oh, I exercise and control in all things, Miss Steele, he says, without a trace of humor in his smile. I look at him and he holds my gaze steadily impassive. My heartbeat quickens and my face flushes again. Why does he have such an unnerving effect on me? His overwhelming good looks, maybe? The way his eyes blaze at me. The way he strokes his index finger across his lower lip. I wish he would stop doing that. Besides, immense power is acquired by assuring yourself in your secret reveries that you were born to control things. He continues with his soft voice. Do you feel that you have immense power, control freak? I employ over 40,000 people, Miss Steele. That gives me a certain sense of responsibility, power, if you will. If I were to decide I was no longer interested in telecommunications business, I could sell, and 20,000 people would struggle to make their mortgage payments after a month or so. My mouth dropped open. I'm staggered by his lack of humanity. Don't you have a board to ask or answer to? I asked, disgusted. I own my company. I do not have to answer to a board. He raises an eyebrow to me. Of course, I, I would have known that if I've done some research, but holy crap, he's arrogant. I have to change tactics. And do you have any interest outside of your work? I have varied interests, Miss Steele. A ghost of a smile touches his lips. Very varied. And for some reason, I'm confounded and heated by his steady gaze. His eyes are alight with some wicked thoughts. But if you work so hard, what do you do to chill out? Chill out, he smiles, revealing perfect white teeth. I stop breathing. He really is beautiful. No one should be this good looking. Well, to chill out, as you put it, I sail, I fly, I indulge in various physical pursuits. He shifts in his chair. I am very wealthy, Miss Steele, and I have expensive and absorbing hobbies. I glance quickly at Kate's questions, wanting to get off this subject. You invest in manufacturing? Why specifically? I ask. Why does it? Why does he make me so uncomfortable? I like to build things. I like to know how things work and how to make things tick, how to construct and deconstruct, and I have a love of ships. What can I say? That sounds like your heart taking rather than logic and facts. His mouth quirks up and he stares appraisingly at me. Possibly, though there are people who would say that I don't have a heart. Why would they say that? Because they know me well. His lips curled up in a wry smile. A wry smile. Would your friends say you're easy to get to know? And I regret this question as soon as I say it, because it's not on Kate's list. Oops. I'm a very private person, Miss Steele. I go a long way to protect my privacy. I don't often give interviews. Why did you agree to do this one? Because I'm a benefactor of the university, and for all my interests and purposes, I couldn't get Miss K off my back. She badgered me and my PR people, and I admire that kind of tenacity. I know how tenacious Kate can be. That's why I'm sitting here squirming uncomfortably under his penetrating gaze. When I should be studying for my exams. You also invest in farming technologies. Why are you invested in that area? Well, you can't eat money, Miss Steele. And there are too many people on this planet who don't have enough to eat. That sounds very philanthropic. Or, yeah, philanthropic. That sounds about right. It is something you feel. Is it something you feel passionate about? Feeding the world's poor? He shrugs noncommittedly. It's a shrewd business, he murmurs. Though I think he's been disingenuous. It doesn't make sense feeding the world's poor. I can't see the financial benefit of this. only the virtue of the ideal. I, I glanced at the next question, confused by his attitude. Do you have a philosophy? If so, what is it? I don't have a philosophy as such. Maybe a guiding principle. And then he goes into a quote. Carnegie is a man acquired the who acquired the ability to take full possession of his own mind, may take possession of anything else to which he is justifiably entitled. I am very singly driven. I like to control and have control of myself and those around me. So you want to possess things. You are a control freak. You want to deserve to possess them. But I want to deserve to possess them. But yes, the bottom line is I do. You sound like the ultimate consumer. I am, he smiles, but the smile doesn't touch his eyes again. This is it. This is at odds with someone who wants to defeat the world. So I can't help thinking that we're talking about something else, but I'm mystified as to what it is. I swallowed hard. The temperature in the room is rising, or maybe it's just me. I just want this interview to be over. Surely Kate has enough material now. I glanced at her next question. So you were adopted? How much do you think that shaped up the way you are? Oh, this is personal. I stared at him, hoping he's not offended. His brow furrows. I have no way of knowing. My interest is piqued. How old were you when you were adopted? That's a matter of public record, Miss Steele. His tone was stern. Crap, yes, of course. If I'd known I was doing this research, I would have, or if I knew I was doing this interview, I would have done some research. Flustered, I moved on quickly. You had to sacrifice family life for your work? That's not a question, he tersed. Sorry, I squirmed. He made me feel like an irritant child. I'll try again. Have you ever had to sacrifice family life for your work? I have a family. I have a brother and a sister and two loving parents. I'm not interested in including my family or extending my family behind that. Are you gay, Mr. Gray? He inhales sharply, and I cringe, mortified. Crap. Why didn't I employ some kind of filter before I read that out straight? How can I tell him that I'm just reading the question? Damn Kate and her curiosity. No, Anastasia, I'm not. He raised his eyebrows, a cool gleam in his eyes. He does not look pleased. I apologize. It's written here. It's the first time he said my name. My heartbeat has accelerated, and my cheeks are heating up again. Nervously, I tuck my loose hair behind my ear. He cocks his head to one side. These aren't your own questions. The blood drains from my head. No, these are Mrs. K's. She complied to questions. Are you colleagues on this student paper? Oh no, I have nothing to do with this student paper. It's her extracurricular activities, not mine. My face is aflamed. No, she's my roommate. He rubs his chin quite deliberately. His gray eyes appraising me. Did you volunteer to do this interview? He asked. Hang on. Who's supposed to be interviewing who? Whom? His eyes burned into me, and I'm compelled to answer with the truth. I was drafted. She's not. Well, my voice was weak and apologetic. That explains a great deal. There was a knock at the door. Blonde number 2 enters. Mr. Gray, forgive me for the interruption, but your next meeting is here in 2 minutes. We're not finished here, Andrea. Please cancel my next two meetings. Andrea hesitantly gaping at him. She appears lost. He turns his head slowly to face her and raises his eyebrow. She flushes bright pink. Oh, good. It's not just me. Very well, Mr. Gray, she mutters, then exits. Her frown, or he frowns and turns his attention back to me. Where were we, Miss Steele? Oh, we're back to Miss Steele now. Please don't let me keep you from anything. I want to know about you. I think it's only fair. His eyes are light with curiosity. Double crap. Where is he going with this? He places his elbows on the chair of the on the arms of the chair and steeples his fingers in front of his mouth. His voice is very distracting. I swallow. There's not much to know. What are your plans after you graduate? I shrug, thrown by my interest. Move to Seattle with Kate, find a job. I haven't really thought about that beyond the finals. I haven't made any plans, Mr. Gray. I just need to get through my final exams, where I should be studying, or which I should be studying for right now, rather than sitting in your swanky, sterile office feeling uncomfortable under your penetrating gaze. Ooh, this is a very sexy book for sure. We run an excellent internship program here, he says quietly. I raise my eyebrow in surprise. Is he offering me a job? Oh, I'll bear that in mind, I murmur, confounded, though I'm not sure I'd fit in here. Oh no, I'm musing out loud again. Why do you say that? He tilts his head to one side, intrigued. A hint of a smile playing on his lips. It's obvious, isn't it? I'm uncoordinated, scruffy, and not a blonde. Not to me, his gaze is intense. All humor gone, with the strange, deep muscles and my belly's clenched suddenly. I tear my eyes away from his scrutiny and stare blindly down at my knotted fingers. What's going on? I have to go now. I lean forward to retrieve the recorder. Would you like me to show you around? He asked. I'm sure you're far too busy for that, Mr. Gray. And I do have a long drive. You're driving back to Vancouver? He sounded surprised. Anxious, even. He glanced out the window. It's begun to rain. Well, you better drive careful. His tone was stern. Why should he care? Did you get everything you need? He adds. Yes, sir, I replied, packing the recorder into my backpack. His eyes narrowed speculatively. Thank you for the interview, Mr. Gray. The pleasure's been all mine, he says, polite as ever. As I raise, he stands, holds out his hand. Till we meet again, Miss Steele. And it sounds like a challenge or a threat. I'm not sure which. I frown. When will we ever meet again? I shake his hand once more, astounded that the odd current between us is still there. It must be my nerves. Mr. Gray, I nod at him, moving with little athletic grace to the door. He opens it wide. Just assuring that you make it through the door, Miss Steele. He gives me a small smile. Obviously, he's referring to my earlier, less than elegant entry into his office. I blush. That's very considerate, Mr. Gray. I snap, and his smile widens, and I'm glad you find me entertaining. I glower inwardly, walking into the foyer. I'm surprised when he follows me out. Andrea and Olivia both looking up at him equally surprised. Do you have a coat? Gray asks. A jacket? Olivia leaps up and retrieves my jacket, which Gray takes from her before she can hand it to me. He holds it up, and feeling ridiculously self-conscious, I shrug it off. Gray places his hands for a moment on my shoulders. I gasp at the contact. If he notices my reaction, he gives nothing away. His long index fingers press the buttons, summoning the elevator, and we stand waiting awkwardly at my part, cooing, self-possessed on his. The door opens and I hurry in a desperate to escape. I really need to get out of here. When I turn to look at him, he's gazing at me, leaning against the doorway beside the elevator with one hand on the wall. He really is very, 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 very good looking. It's unnerving. Anastasia, he says, as I farewell. Christian, I reply, as the merciful door closes. All right. We're going to leave it off right there. I've been Noob Solos. We're going to continue this next time. All right. Have a good rest of the day. Peace out.